All right, so our next product is called Ghostwood. So ghostwood is an industry term for a type of wood that is called Manzanita. So it's a shrubby brush that grows in the western United States. Manzanita comes in varying thicknesses. A little later on in the video, I'll show you the different type of Manzanita species. It's a little smaller, more fibrous, and like stringy on the ends. But the thing I love about this product is it's definitely recommended more for dry land or like terrarium settings because this stuff is not the best at like sinking. It's also a little bit more on the fibrous, porous side. So one thing I'll say about this product is, unlike your spider wood and your mopani wood, if you put this underwater, it's pretty likely to mildew or mold underwater. So that can be remedied over time, but it's pretty unsightly initially. So it can be kind of more a headache than it's usually worth. But for desert terrariums and like tropical terrariums, I think this stuff is amazing, especially for the natural, just the curvatures and the flow of the wood. It just looks super awesome, looks super rustic, like something you'd see if you go out to like, you know, a park in like Utah or the Western United States, like to have that really crazy gnarled look to it. I think this product's great for that. One more thing about ghostwood and a lot of our wood products, with all of our wood products, we tend to carry them in different sizes. So we carry anything from usually that 9 to 12 inch mark, all the way up to these things where they're like, you know, 4 or 5 feet long. So really for any size terrarium, we can fulfill your needs in that. All right, so this is our Manzanita wood. As we talked about a little bit earlier, this is basically a similar type of wood to our ghostwood. As you can see, these particular portions we have, these are the smaller part of the bush or the tree. So these are the very tips, or like where the leaf structure would actually be on the plant. So these are really cool too, especially if you have like a bunch of tiny geckos, like house geckos and things like that. You can trim these down and put them in your enclosure. It gives a lot of branch coverage to your terrarium. And overall, the look is really interesting too. This product can be used in an aquarium, like I said, but you will have to deal with that initial issues of like molding and mildewing, and then that'll have to go away over time. But yeah, this is the second part of that ghostwood. This is like what we call, in our store, we call Manzanita. The bigger pieces we call ghostwood. But this stuff is absolutely cool, and it's going to be great for your terrarium. And I wouldn't say we saved the best for last, but we definitely saved the OG for last. So this is our Grapevine. So Grapevine is probably one of the most classic terrarium woods that's out there. This stuff is super versatile. It grows in these really crazy and naughty fashions. What this is too, this is actually a sustainable product, just like all the woods you've seen here today. But what this is too, in grape orchards, or I guess vineyards is what you would call them, once, you know, I believe once vines get to a certain age or a certain amount of years, they're no longer as productive, so they go ahead and remove those vines. And what this is when grapevines get very, very old, they get very hard and wood-like, and so that's what you're actually seeing is here. When they take these out of those vineyards and things like that, they actually repurpose them for the reptile industry. So these are kiln dried and sandblasted and cleaned, basically made safe and ready to go for your reptile. These are absolutely fabulous. These come in a different variety of sizes as well. One thing I will say about these, I don't necessarily recommend them in an aquarium setting because they are so porous, basically, that they frequently mold and mildew. The next thing about them too would be that they float. So they're really bad about getting waterlogged. It would take forever for these things to sink down. So paludarium or terrarium, I think you're fine. Stay away from the aquarium with them. But overall, Grapevine is probably one of our most popular sellers. I definitely recommend it from most every terrarium out there. All right, so honorable mention for this video. One of our more unique woods is our Choya wood. So this is actually not, I guess it's not actually a true wood, but what this is, it's actually the skeletal structure of the Choya cactus. So when the cactus, the moist and like fibrous parts of the cactus die off and dry out, this is what remains. So you'll see this all over in the Western United States as well. I mean, this has this really unique structure to it. You can kind of see, it's kind of like human arteries basically, where you can see where all the connective tissue structures of the plant once were, but this is the skeletal remains of a cactus. This is really cool for desert environments, but it can also be used in aquariums. So a lot of people like to break off sections of this, or we also sell pre-made Choya with Java moss on it, or other types of moss like our Agrophilia moss on there. Those can be both really cool options, especially for like our shrimp tanks and things like that, where you need like small, micro flora and things like that to grow on surfaces like your algae and things like that. So the Choya wood for that reason can be an excellent choice as well. If you would happen to have any questions about wood, be sure to ask an associate in store or drop us a message online. Have a great day.